type stuff today, which is kind of funny. I'm going to show you some bluegrass banjo style licks moved to the guitar, which is pretty common, or pretty comical since you are a bluegrass banjo player. Although you're doing more the frailing style. But first lick I'll show you. This is not a banjo lick, and this can be played with a flat pick. And one of the neat things that makes a lick sound a little more interesting is if it moves in more than one direction.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a lot of people would do a lick that doesn't, it kind of descends and then kind of stays where it's at. But this lick sounds cool, mainly because of this one movement. So that chromatic right there makes the lick. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling. Now I have to pretend that this is my open fret right here. Start on the 3rd fret, pull off. 3rd fret of the 2nd string, pull off. And then 2nd fret of the 3rd string, hammer on to the 3rd string, and then move to the open 2nd string. Then, going back to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, you do a chromatic pull-off where you're playing a double pull-off, right? You're playing 3rd fret, pull off to the 2nd, pull off to the open string, go to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, pull off to the open 4th string, end on the G string. I do tend to cheat, and I guess this is not a bluegrass technique, although I really like the sound of this. I'm going to tend to pull. In this lick, I pull 2 notes. Pull that one. Pull the last one. I get more snap out of my strings. Bluegrass players will tend to, they are going to hit certain notes, they're going to accent certain notes, they might not do that. But, so maybe from a traditional standpoint, that's not good, but I like the sound of it. Now, talking about some hybrid things. I was trying to think of where this came from. This is from Country Boy, which was a Ricky Skaggs tune, and it was also done by Albert Lee. Albert Lee was this monster British country player who toured with Eric Clapton for several years. Just a great guitar player. And he did kind of he did a version that featured more instrumental. And Ricky Skaggs, of course, I don't know how much you know about Skaggs, but he's a monster instrumentalist, or used to be. I don't know what he is now. So this is a banjo-oriented lick, but once again, bluegrass banjo-oriented, and I'm doing it using hybrid picking. So I'm going to play the 4th string at the 4th fret, hammer on to the 5th fret, and then go to the open 3rd string. Back to the 4th string, 2nd string at the 3rd fret, and then a roll 4-3-2. And then the lick ends with 5th fret of the 3rd string, 5th fret of the 4th string, and I'm going to do that by this roll that we use a lot of times. So I'm laying my 3rd finger down on the 3rd string, I roll it to stand it up on the 4th string, play the 3rd fret of the 4th string with a hammer on to 4, and then end on the G. And a great G lick. And I know that you probably use G on occasion in playing. That was supposed to be. Most of the bluegrass stuff that I'm familiar with is if it's not in G, it's in G capoed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Pardon me?
Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Yeah, this is a Foggy Mountain Breakdown lick done on guitar
Yeah.
using hybrid picking. And the cool thing about this is that it uses that same the same roll that was used in the last lick. And this lick, in and of itself, can give you kind of a banjo-esque feel on the guitar. Okay, a bluegrass banjo-esque feel, though not the frailing style. So the lick, the thing is, I'm going to do now. By the way, I did it before on the second, third, and fourth strings. Here it's done on the first, second, and third strings, and I'm not going to take. I'm taking you basically from the middle part of the lick. And that thing, once again, I'm using my middle finger on the second string, my ring finger on the third string, and the pick, first string, I'm sorry, and the pick on the third string. So pick on the third string, middle on the second string, ring finger on the first string. And we get that, we're going for that kind of banjo clash with a 5-string banjo. You've got that G string that rings against everything.
Yeah.
Unless you capo the G string. And a lot of people don't even do that. They go for that clash. So you're going for that kind of sound where you've got that weird half-step interval here, and I'm playing the third fret, first and second strings, and my pinky is playing the 6th fret of the third string. So that's, now I'm giving you string numbers 3 2 3 2 1 3 2 1. Then it repeats 3 2 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1. And then it ends on that. The ending lick is, I think, similar to what I just played a moment ago. That's the 5th fret of the 3rd string, 5th fret of the 4th string, 3rd fret of the 3rd string, hammer on, and on the G on the 5th fret of the 4th string. So now the whole lick. The first part, which I haven't shown you, it starts on a 3-note chord. It's a G chord. I'm going to bar across the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd strings, and then I'm playing the 4th fret of the 3rd string. 1 fret, there you go. And then what I do is I move 1 fret higher on the 3rd string every time I pluck. I pluck all 3 strings, move to the 4th fret of the 3rd string, the 5th fret, and then I'm into my... Another way of doing it is to hammer on between the 4th and 5th fret, but that's kind of harder to do, especially on an acoustic guitar with a wound G string, as opposed to... I like the sound of the hammer on a little more, but it's not noticeable enough probably in the context of an actual song that it's going to be critical that you play it that way. Okay? Now, I don't know if you've experimented much with this. make sure it's still going. It is. You can do a lot of stuff with drone strings. Where you're sliding up to the 5th fret of the 4th string, for instance, over a G chord, and you get. Anytime you get that going, it gives it kind of a bluegrass feel. Once again, we're almost implying a banjo-ish kind of feel, but that's actually a very, very common bluegrass thing.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, like I'm not showing you anything new, or
You're showing me something I don't know how to do. I don't know how to play.
okay.
But I'm really good at music.
And for instance, then on a G chord, right? I've got the scale, the typical pentatonic scale. And in bluegrass, we tend to use what I call the major blues scale. Is sliding up to either on the G chord. I've got a B note, so I can slide up to the. Now I'm making up licks, and I'm not doing a perfect job of it, but that's what I'm showing you right there. It's sliding up. I'm hitting both, or I'm either hitting both. Or most often what I'll do is hit the 3rd string and then hit the B string after I've done my slide. I'm just using the scale.
Can you break that one down?
I'm making it up as I go.
Play it twice in a row.
So there's the. Now I'll try to solidify some licks. So what I'm doing is sliding up to B on the 3rd string, then playing the open B. And the lick is pulling off from the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So I've got. And then I did the same thing. Everything moved over a string. I've got to slide up to the 5th fret now because I'm going to play the. I'm playing the 5th fret of the 4th string, sliding up to that to do the open G. And then standard bluegrass, 2nd fret of the 4th string, pull off to open, 2nd fret of the 5th string, pull off to open, end on the G. So here's my lick. Okay.
And a couple times before, I think it was the same thing, except you just did more or less the D right there.
simply, probably what you're thinking of is when I went to the D actually. I'll go down to that F sharp in the bass, leading into the G chord. And you asked me if I knew anything about bluegrass.
Well, that's only because you said it has the capacity to.
Actually, I'm making this all up as I go. I've messed around with, I play a lot of acoustic guitar, I used to, but I haven't played around with bluegrass as much as I should. But every once in a while, I sit down and goof off with the rhythm track and mess around. So that's a neat technique, that's sliding up the octaves, and you've got to think of the chords. I mean, if you think of the chords, this is where it's important because I can do a G chord there. I slide up to the 5th fret of the 4th string, I'm playing the same as the open 3rd string, which is a G. I can also slide up to from the 5th fret of the 5th string, which is a D note. That's part of the G chord as well. So I can. Three of those notes work with the G chord, which is kind of cool. Of course, the D, I could slide up to the 5th fret of the 5th string, which makes it a D. I should be able to also, I can do the. Now I've got to be careful with this one. I can tell already it seems a little low. I'm not going to want to stay there for long. I'm not going to want to build a lick around this. But I could slide up to the 5th fret of the 6th string, which gives me an A. And there I've got a nice D lick sliding up to the 5th fret of the 6th string, adding the 5th string open. 5th fret of the 5th string to the open D string. Now I can't slide up to an open F sharp, but I can slide up to the F sharp. And I'm gonna, an A on the 2nd fret with my 1st finger. Hammer on or play the B note. And then back to my F sharp on the 4th fret. So the only thing I might have trouble with is the C chord. Chord. Now, what I'm doing is, okay, remember in class today we were talking about knowing the names of the notes and the chords.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the names of the notes in the 3 chords in the key of G, the 3 primary chords. I could, although this sounds a little outside, kind of, because I'm doing a big jump. G is also, the notes in a C chord are C, E, and G. So I could do the slide to the G string, and even the slide to the E string over a C chord. So now I'm going to throw all of this crap together into one solo over a bluegrass chord change. Now, this is overusing the technique.
Yeah.
And I'm going to slow it down so I don't get completely lost. wish I could just erase that. The C, I feel like I'm straining to make that fit. Pardon me?
You're talking about the E? Okay.
Over the C. Well, just. It's not so much. It's that it's a big jump from the.
Yeah.
You know, maybe. We're not ever playing the root of that chord, and we're playing the third and the fifth of that chord, and they're not as strong as being able to do the root. But I could use them. It's just not something you're going to lay on or emphasize too much, and really, frankly, probably avoid it, because I don't think it's going to sound as strong as the other two.
Okay.
Okay, let me pause this if I can. Can I pause? No. Doesn't look like it.